Welcome to a new era of Formula One, the electronic era. Traction control and other driver aids are now permitted on the cars. Critics say it takes the skill away from the drivers. Supporters say the only fair way to regulate the cars is by allowing electronic freedom. But how does traction control work?
Traction control is something that's been around in road cars for quite a number of years now, and it's been banned in Formula One since '93. And it's basically a method of reducing wheel spin by either cutting the engine torque with the ignition. As the driver puts his foot on the throttle, it just reduces the wheel spin.
We have a conventional throttle pedal in the front of the car, and the driver still presses and operates the pedal, but the signal from that is read electronically and passed back to the engine control system. Now, obviously, we can now modify that, so although the driver may have it pressed fully down, we can change what happens from the engine point of view.
Takes a little bit more effort away from the driver, and from the moment onwards you hit the throttle of the car, you can't spin the car. You can say it's a safety issue, but it's on the other side also boring because it's not challenging anymore, and the right foot feeling you had in the past, it's going to be numb in future.
Forcibly cutting the ignition certainly puts a strain on the engine, as Jacques Villeneuve found on Friday. Traction control comes into its own on the exit of slow and medium speed corners. It won't make a big difference to the lap time in qualifying, but it will preserve the tyres over a 65-lap Grand Prix. But it's not just traction control that's now allowed. We've got launch control and a host of other new toys. In practical terms, what this basically means is there are a lot more buttons for the driver to press. There are more things he can adjust in the cockpit of the car. The most interesting button is this one, the automatic gear shift sequence. In the past, approaching a corner, the driver would come up, put the brakes on, and then go down 1, 2, 3 gears perhaps to take second gear for a corner. Now, the car knows where it is on the circuit. All he has to do is press that button there, and it automatically puts him down into the correct gear for the corner. Absolutely mind-blowing. They're calling it the video game revolution, but make no mistake, the best drivers will still be the best drivers, and there'll be even more on the limit than they were before.
Tony, I detect a distinct lack of enthusiasm for the return of traction control. Would I be right?
Absolutely spot on, and the majority of the drivers are totally against it. I mean, I'm totally against it. I think, the art of throttle control is one of the driver's great assets when he learns to use that, and you're taking away from the driver, and the computer is partly doing it for you. So what I say is that an average driver will be better, especially when it's damp or it's wet. Of course the cream will still be at the top. Niki Lauda summed it up by saying, look, my granny can drive the things now. And he said, it's a joke. We need to decide if we're developing road cars or we're in the entertainment and sports business. I think we're in the latter.
OK, but it's here. It's not going to go away. I know the cars sound a bit different, but what difference will the viewers out there notice?
Well, in particular, those spectators going to the track. I went to Silverstone testing last week and went out and listened to the cars. And when the ignition comes in to cut out the engine, coming through a corner, for example, and the wheels start to spin, it cuts the power. So you get the and then the full power comes in. And you think, well, there's the real racing engine. And Lazy says inside the helmet, when you hear it, he said, it's awful, it's ruining the show.